I just raised money to run an ad in the New York Times, and that was crowdfunded on Indiegogo. And, of course, there's the famous Pebble Watch, which pushed Kickstarter ahead quite favorably, and that works. But it's really R&D funding.
Pre-tail and pre-selling. Entrepreneurs are raising the money they need to develop the products consumers want to buy. Next, we're going to spend some time talking with your peers. These folks are entrepreneurs like you who have taken the leap into the future and found there is an economic light at the end of the tunnel. Remember Perry Mason, the lawyer who almost never lost a case? Well, if your life was on the line, would you rather listen to a super smart lawyer or just another average Joe? If your economic life is on the line, don't you want to listen to super smart entrepreneurs who have a stake in your success? That's who we interview for you every week on our crowdfunding media incubators. Now let's cut to the chase and talk to your peers who put their own pitches on trial and have won their cases in the court of public opinion called crowdfunding. Max Bogue is co-founder of 3Doodler. He and his partner recently raised nearly $2 million in 2 days. 2 days. Seemingly magical things can happen when you properly mix traditional media publicity with crowdfunding in a way that can change your life.
We did a media outreach about a week to 2 weeks beforehand. We, reached out to a lot of tech bloggers and whatnot. We certainly didn't expect the number that picked it up.
What's it like to suddenly have $2 million in your hand to go to work and fulfill your dream?
It's an amazing opportunity to be able to produce these items, to use that money to produce these pens. It's fantastic. So, we're jumping up and down on that regard.
Your peers work hard to grow and expand their businesses through crowdfunding and more. We help entrepreneurs take crowdfunding beyond friends and family. Entrepreneurs are helping entrepreneurs by creating powerful new communication technologies, many of which have a way to get started using them for free. Meet Lawrence Nathanson of Engager.com. Tell me all about Engager now. How's that work?
We are all very constricted by time today. The notion with Engager is that we deliver short vignettes we call modules. These modules are no longer than about 30 seconds each. You have an interactive conversation when you are using Engager. So you watch the first module, and from that module, you get to choose where you want to go next. Kind of like the Choose Your Own Adventure stories.
I recently interviewed the COO of Indiegogo, one of the biggest crowdfunding portals out there, and she told me that people who use a web video in their crowdfunding campaign raise 110% more money than people who don't.
Well, Mike, what you're referring to is the part of our platform where you can send out a rich text or HTML email to invite people to watch your pitch. When you look at the average number of clicks from an email to a website or to video, the average number is 3.2%. The number of people that click through from an Engager email is 34%.
Since I just mentioned Danae Ringelman, the COO of Indiegogo, let me introduce you to her right now.
The way Indiegogo works is you create a campaign, you set a funding goal, you make a pitch video, and then you offer perks in exchange for different levels of contribution. Well, there's 5 reasons people fund anything, anywhere in the world, and we talk about these as the 5 Ps, and the first 4 Ps are at play on Indiegogo. So what are these Ps? Well, the first is passion. So people fund things because they just want to do good. They want the idea to come to life is they want to participate. They want to simply participate in something bigger than themselves. The 4th reason people fund is pride. So people like to be recognized for their good work. They like to be recognized for their involvement. The 5th P, which is actually currently not available on Indiegogo, is profit. But because of the success of Indiegogo and the success of pretty much all of our campaign owners and small businesses and entrepreneurs using the site, the White House took wind of it, and we partnered with them in their Startup America Act Jobs Act, President Obama's Start-up America initiative, and that led to us providing them some good insight as to the power of crowdfunding, which actually then helped pass the Jobs Act.
I think a perfect example of the successful way to pre-sell products is the story of Andy Crafter, CEO of Spira Footwear.
I ran across this concept of crowdfunding and a site called RocketHub.com and offered a bunch of deals for people. Ultimately, we sold about 800 pairs of shoes in a couple of months. We'd offered a little discount. It gave us enough money to produce the first run of shoes. We ended up raising a little less than $43,000.
I think another key point to bring up is the relationship between crowdfunding and direct response. So I asked longtime direct response professional Andy Butler about the relationship between DR and his crowdfunding campaign for Zubo Water.
If you look at the pitches and how they're constructed, the most effective ones, reach back to the fundamentals of direct response marketing. The clarity of stating the benefits, and then stating why you are uniquely qualified to offer this product, and then closing is direct response.
They explain it this way. Consumers who are engaged in pre-tail buying are driven by the thrill of finding exciting, useful, or relevant products. And reportedly, consumers love many products that would never make it to a traditional brand's production line. Having worked for NBC Sports in New York, I've learned that covering crowdfunding is kind of like covering the Olympics. It's an international event.
About 10% of our sign-ups are from outside the U.S. The company's been covered by news articles in Australia, in Paris, in the U.K. as well. So there's been a lot of global interest about this idea of could you make a personal shopping genius that would manage all of your purchases at home and make it super easy for you to, with one click, send that order to the local grocery store and just come pick it up. So, I'm excited for what we're going to be able to do with this crowdfunding campaign as we do our launch. But, based on the success of this, I think there's going to be an opportunity for us to do additional campaigns down the road and further engage our user community.
That was Rosie App co-founder and CEO Nick Nikitas. Like anything else in life, in crowdfunding, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
The background of Stick and Fine is that they were able to raise the $930,000 on Indiegogo, which is a crowdfunding platform. And they released actually two other products as well, which is called Meter Plug and Blue Tracker. And so they're raising money on Indiegogo for those products as well. They first pursued Kickstarter, and they were rejected by Kickstarter, and then they went to Indiegogo and raised nearly $1 million there.
Recently, I had the chance to talk with Sydney Armani, the publisher of Crowdfunding in Silicon Valley. We talked about community crowdfunding and the project recently done by movie director Francis Ford Coppola.
Good thing about the crowdfunding that people like you, they have ideas, they have, they're expert in this field. If it's news of a crowdfunding happening, they come to us and say, this is what's happening in our neighborhood about crowdfunding. Francis Ford Coppola, he just donated one of those branches for the neighborhood in Sonoma, and they turned it into the little community center for the city, which is wonderful. And they want to do this crowdfunding, and they are doing crowdfunding through fundraising. That's what the story we want to look at, to inspire other neighborhoods, to inspire other regions of the country to do such a things like that. The nature of entrepreneurship in Silicon Valley is that you can do anything, and that's very American.
If you're working at a job today, you're probably like many of us and make an hourly rate of about probably $83,000 an hour. Kidding. $83,000 an hour is how much Jan Gutgeluk, a Virtuix, made during the first 3 hours of his crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter. Listen why.
We launched the Omni on Kickstarter just a week ago to get the help from the community and get the Omni through the manufacturing phase. We reached our goal, our funding goal, within 3.5 hours. It's been a tremendous success. We are pleased and really encouraged by the support from the community. So far, in just a week's time, we raised more than $750,000, and we sold more than 2,000 units in just a week. So it's been a tremendous start of our Kickstarter campaign, and we keep going. We're here at E3 right now, and we just want to reach as many people as possible. And give this experience as many gamers and virtual reality enthusiasts as possible. But it's off to a great start. We couldn't be happier.
Here's one of the things I love about crowdfunding. It's the excitement of raising money even before the product is fully developed. Listen to Liz Dickinson, CEO and founder of Physical Enterprises, Inc., and crowdfunder of alphaheartrate.com. She told me about the power of social media and a crowdfunding portal.
Through contact with reporters and, really just word of mouth through social media, we have been letting consumers know that we have this amazing new technology. Did a Kickstarter campaign in August, and I asked for $100,000, and I got $321,000. So we were able to bring the alpha to the market in time, to fulfill our pledges by Christmas.
You know, crowdfunding is going mainstream when discount retail giant Costco promotes crowdfunding in their Costco Connection magazine, telling readers anyone can post pitches for new products or projects on the internet so that everyday users can back them with financial contributions.
A man named Tim Schafer, who we know from gaming conferences, put up a project called Double Fine Adventure. They were looking initially for, I believe, $300,000, and they eventually raised several $1 million because the fans said, yes, we want to see adventure games come back. And that to us is the excitement of Kickstarter, is that Kickstarter gives fans of any sort of product a choice, that you can go up there and support the projects that you believe in and make them real.
You just heard Corey Cole, co-founder of Hero U, who was so motivated by that success that he launched his own crowdfunding campaign too.
Yes, we're looking for $400,000. Kickstarter takes out their share and so on. We're currently, we're just short of $150,000. We've been going for a week now. We have a little over about 3 weeks to run.
With everyday success stories like these, it's no wonder crowdfunding is already spreading like wildfire. I interviewed Candace Klein, co-founder of Somaland, whom Forbes magazine chose as one of the top 10 most influential people in crowdfunding. She recently worked with Baylor University to conduct a national poll, and she explains why crowdfunding is such an exciting new topic.
We interviewed thousands of Americans from across the country and asked them how likely they would be to both raise money in crowdfunding and to invest it. What we learned is that the highest percentage of people who are willing to or interested in investing on crowdfunding platforms typically are making $50,000 or less. So these are individuals who've never had the ability or the option to invest in their peers and their own communities before. They will now have this newfound opportunity to do so. So I believe that this is going to create significant wealth for those who haven't had access to it in the past.
There are already a variety of types of crowdfunding portals, all designed to fit any enterprise, large or small, and with more on the way.
Rewards-based, debt, and equity. Today, donation and reward-based crowdfunding are already prevalent in the United States and abroad through websites like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Rocket Hub, and others.
Whether you may be an investor, project promoter, a job seeker, or no one, crowdfunding is already impacting the lives of more and more Americans every day. For most people who don't have a strong social media following, knowing the right journalists who have created the top crowdfunding success stories provides another great alternative. That's why we carefully research and track the top journalists, bloggers, talk show hosts, and even product buyers who can make campaigns really take off. Meet Tim Stevens, publisher of Engadget.
We're lucky that we get quite a bit of traffic each day, and so when we highlight some of these stories, they go from actionable funding to well and truly very funded very quickly. One of those great success stories was the Ouya gaming console, which launched a few months ago. That's one of the the poster children of Kickstarter at this point, having raised I think about $8 million total. But yeah, that was a very popular story on the site.